You have turned into Remote Control's latest episode. Listen in as the GCRN crew talks TV from 2000 to now, with pilot and season premiere episodes, finishing finales, and season passes as well. Now get ready to change the channel with your Remote Control as we bring you the latest and greatest in the world of television. All from the Geekcast Radio Network. We are all remote controlled.
Sir, you can't be in here yet.
Well, you can call security if you have to, darling. But until they throw me out, I'm going to be talking to my brother. Come on, wake up, you hear me? Wake up and you get better, and you keep fighting. You keep fighting me. Now, I'm going to tell you something you never heard me say before. I love you, Bobby. And I don't know who I'd be without you.
Grab that remote control because the GCRN's brand new TV podcast is here. We are calling it Remote Control. I am your host. I don't know why that says that, but I am your host, TFG1Mike, and joining me from Talking About My Generation is Doug Abel. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Welcome back to the Remote Control, because you've been on a couple of these episodes. You're on Red Band Society and Stalker and Scorpion and all those pilot premieres, but now we're doing season passes over the next 3 weeks here in February, because isn't February a sweeps month, or didn't it used to be? Isn't February? No, isn't it November, February, and May that are sweeps months for TV?
Pretty much.
I thought that's what I could be wrong. People comment on the post and let me know if I'm wrong. But we are doing over the next 3 weeks here in February, because it used to be sweeps month. We're going to be doing all 3 seasons of Dallas, the 2012 continuation series from TNT. And obviously, for those of you that don't know, as I just said, Dallas is the continuation/sequel. It is not a reboot series to the classic CBS drama Dallas, which ran from 78 to 91. Now, what was your initial... what the hell am I looking for here? Wow, I'm tripping on my words today. What was your initial feeling and thought towards the original series? Had you ever seen it? Did your parents let you watch it, or did you ignore it altogether as a kid?
Well, I kind of saw a couple of episodes, but part of the problem was that it came on late. It came on basically right around the time I was supposed to be going to bed, so I didn't get a chance to watch a whole lot of it. But I remember my mom being like absolutely enthralled with seeing, you know, the women fighting in the fountain or in the pond outside of South Park, and just
the pool.
South Fork, excuse me.
Not South Park.
Jesus.
Come on now.
Yes, I'm sorry. Slip of the tongues. God. But yeah, I remember my mom being fascinated with that whole fight. And, you know, again, I don't remember seeing the episode for the first time, but she was like, oh my God. You know, she went to work the next day. She's like, oh my God, did you see so-and-so fighting? I'm like, Mom, really? She's like, oh, I'm going to be talking about this all day. You know, and that was her thing. So she watched Dallas. She enjoyed it. I never really saw it as a kid. I mean, I knew who Larry Hagman was, but my experience with Larry Hagman wasn't JR necessarily. It was I Dream of Jeannie. So that was my exposure.
Yeah.
It was an okay show at the time. I did see a couple of episodes, but I remember thinking when I saw it as a kid damn, this is boring.
See, and I had the complete opposite reaction because I was... When I probably watched Dallas at the time, it was between 88 and 92. Okay, well, technically 92 the series was over, but they still reran it,
Oh, yeah.
Because it ended in 91. But like from, let's just say 88 to 91. And I had seen various reruns and whatever else, but it was a real treat for me. And my mom sometimes let me do this, and I had to actually convince and cajole and make deals with my friends' moms if I ever slipped over to any of my friends' houses to let us on Friday nights to let us watch it, because that was the thing. Friday night television, 9, 10 o'clock, you had Dallas and whatever else was before or after it. I don't remember off the top of my head. I was always rooting for Bobby. I was never rooting for the best villain in television because he isn't even a guy you love to hate. JR, he may God rest Larry Hagman's soul and JR's soul. Because let's face it, and you and I mentioned this last year when we did that tribute to JR on your podcast talking about my generation. The man Larry Hagman was John Ross Ewing.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't okay, sure. Yeah, he was what was his name? He was Genie's master on Major Nelson,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, thank God I can remember that. God, I'm getting too old. Sure, he was Major Nelson on I Dream of Jeannie. Of all things, his mother was Peter Pan.
Yeah.
But most of us, and even Larry Hagman himself, everybody today is like, oh, are you afraid of typecasting? Are you afraid of this, afraid of that? Larry embraced the JR role from tip to tail.
Oh.
And he did it for 30 or more years. I mean, for 3 decades. He was that character.
On and off screen. I mean,
Exactly.
There were times when he'd go out in public and he would not be seen without the Stetson hat on. And it was just
Absolutely.
one of those things, that and the giant big ass belt buckle. And it was just like, wow, Larry Hagman in, Malibu walking around with a Stetson hat. It was just,
Exactly. Now, folks, we are, I wanted to give just a quick thing of our initial involvement as kids in the 80s, 90s on what Dallas was. But Dallas, the original series, will get a full coverage episode at some point on the telecast. I don't know when. That's Optimus Solo's TV podcast. But we are here to talk about Season 1 of Dallas, the 2012 sequel series. I'm always skeptical when they do these types of things in Hollywood in general, whether it's film, whether it's television, whether it's a cartoon series, whatever,
Oh yeah.
what have you. And this had been planned, not this specific series, but a Dallas follow-up series, not counting Knots Landing. A Dallas continuation series had been in the plans for years and years and years and years, and it just never was the right time. The right deal was never there. And in 2012, 3 years ago, we got Dallas on TNT. It ran from 2012 to last year, 2014. The show length is 44 minutes without commercials, 1 hour width. Had 3 seasons, had 40 total episodes. When did you first hear about the revival of Dallas?
I remember watching TNT, and I forget what I was watching. It might have been basketball or something, and they came on and they said, coming in June, we're going to have Dallas, the return of Dallas. And I went, my first thought was, oh God, please, no, because I'd seen so many rebirths at this point that had just failed. Bionic Woman being one of them. And I was afraid that this was going to be another Bionic Woman, or this was going to be, something horrible. And I was so worried. I thought, oh God. And then I found out that this was going to be a continuation. It was going to pick up, and they were going to have the original, a lot of the original characters in there, but it was going to be, 30 years later. So I was kind of like,
yeah.
Okay, that works for me. I didn't want to see somebody else playing JR.
Oh no, they would never do that. I don't even think Larry would allow them to do that.
Yeah.
That
was what my big worry was at first, was that we were going to see somebody new for JR. We were going to see another scene with Patrick Duffy or somebody pretending to be Patrick Duffy's character taking a shower and waking up. Like the woman wakes up and, oh, there's Bobby in the shower again.
See, the one thing I don't mind about the different casting here in the 2012 series is because the kids in the old series pretty much rotate. Like I don't remember, honestly. I don't know who the actors were who played the children for John, Ross, and Christopher. So for me, seeing Jesse Metcalf and Josh Henderson as Christopher and John Ross respectively, I was like, okay, great. As long as as long as the writing stays true to the characters of how they grew up, and it does.
Yes.
I mean, this series, ladies and gentlemen, is one of, the best sequel series on television I've ever seen, because it has such a strict lineage, and they work every single angle into it. From the war between Jock Ewing and Digger Barnes, from Miss Ellie, from, Ray and Lucy, from the other brother Gary, who went off on Knots Landing, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking off the top of my head here, but
Gary was crazy and spun off on a Knots Landing, so that's fine.
Yeah, and his wife Valerie, Sue Ellen and JR and all their marital and divorcial problems, because let's face it, whether they're married or divorced, those two, But yeah, no, I when I first heard about this, I'm like, oh, interesting, cool. And then I'm like, oh, hey, it's the Fast and the Furious chick. That's pretty cool. They're putting her in a completely different role, Jordana Brewster. And, really for me, where it boils down to, because as a kid, I related to Bobby's side of the whole family feud here. It was just great seeing Patrick Duffy back in the role as Bobby.
Oh, yeah.
It really was.
My thought when I first saw this, because I knew that he had done stuff before Step by Step, but Step by Step was my first real exposure to Patrick Duffy.
Wow.
I know. And to see him from being that goofball dad, the kind of aloof dad in that show, and then coming in here and seeing him just be this royal badass. Just a lot of the little things that you saw, him warring with JR. I was kind of like, oh my God, wow.
Yeah. So really, really dug the first season of Dallas. We'll get into our thoughts on that here in a bit. But first, we're going to hit the casting couch and talk about the main core cast of Dallas. And I actually, you don't have this, but I wanted to put it in my document that I usually put up for this. But I mean, the cast, I actually clicked on full cast and crew, and I usually just copy out the cast and all that stuff. And
yeah,
I mean, it's like 3.5 pages.
Oh, Jesus.
There's a lot of people in here, but we're not going to go through all of them. We're just going to hit the major characters, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start with the legacy characters. Let's start with Bobby Ewing and Patrick Duffy. I mean, the man, you already mentioned Step by Step.
Yeah.
He was in one episode of Justice League or Justice League Unlimited. It's all one big thing to me. As the voice of Steve Trevor. He was in a Wonder Woman episode for that show. But I mean, he got his first acting role was adoptee number 3 in The Stranger Who Looks Like Me, a TV movie from 1974. He then went on to do another TV movie, The Last of Mrs. Lincoln, in 76. 77, 78, he was on Man from Atlantis. Believe it or not, he was William Cord in 1980 on Charlie's Angels. No, folks, this will not lead back to Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, no, we're leaving that one alone.
Yeah, he was on a couple episodes of The Love Boat. Obviously, Knots Landing as Bobby Ewing, 79 to 82. He was on a TV movie version of Alice in Wonderland. He played the goat in 85.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember that at all, no. So after Dallas, after 1991, he was Harold Hatchback on Goof Troop.
I don't remember that. Wow.
He was himself in a series called Sisters in 93. Let's see. He was on the Dallas TV movies. Step by Step was pretty much his biggest thing after Dallas as far as the television series go. He was on an episode of Diagnosis Murder in 98, I should say. And since then, let's see, what's he got going on? Obviously, he's got the new series. He was on The Bold and the Beautiful from 2006 to 2011 as Stephen Logan.
Oh, God.
It all comes back to soaps, what?
He was in Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Oh, Lord.
Oh. You know, John C. Reilly he's a funny actor, but that was... Moving on.
Moving on. Right now, it doesn't have anything listed for him after the current Dallas series, the series of the 2012 series. So, but I mean, he's had a long the guy started acting in his first role was in 74. So, I mean, the guy has had a very, very long acting career.
Oh, yeah.
And he's done some very, very interesting things. But I think the most that people are going to remember him from is Step by Step as Frank Lambert and Dallas as Bobby Ewing.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see here. We got Linda Gray as Sue Ellen Ewing. See, I'm saving the best for last here,
folks.
Of course. She actually currently is in pre-production on a short called Wally's Will. This was after the Dallas 2012 series ended. Her acting career started in 1963 in Palm Springs Weekend. She was the yellow swimsuited girl at the pool, uncredited. She would then go on to do a couple episodes of McCloud in 76. She was on she was in a TV movie, Murder in Peyton Place. Let's see here. Dallas, obviously, 78 to 91, Sue Ellen Ewing. She was, she was on Melrose Place for a number of, for 1994 as, Heather Locklear's mother, which then spun off to, Models Inc. from 94 to 95. She was in the two Dallas made-for-TV movie things that were out. She also was in Bold and the Beautiful from 2004 to 2005. It all leads back to the soaps, folks. She came back to the new crappy... That's one bad way to do a reboot series, the WB 90210 TV series. She was Victoria Brewer in that. And then, coming back as Sue Ellen, Linda Gray, she's an amazing, and she looks good for her age. I mean, you see her in this series,
I'm going to say this about her, is that when I saw her for the very first time in the first episode, when that white Porsche pulls up and she gets out of the Porsche, I was kind of like, oh, it wasn't like she looked good. Don't get me wrong, but it was kind of like, she looked like a weathered, seasoned Texas wife. There was not the big hair going on, but she looked like she was this woman in power and had seen a shitload of stuff come through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, getting to the man himself, out of the three legacy characters, we have Larry Hagman, J.R. Ewing himself. He started his acting career as Kurt Williams in Search for Tomorrow, which is a TV series from 1951. Okay, so he passed away last year, right?
2012, actually.
2012. Okay, so he was in acting for 61 years. There's only one other person that I know of on this planet that has been an actor that long. And God rest his soul and his voice, Mel Blanc. When he died in 89, he started in the 20s. 60 years as a voice actor. So back to Hagman. He was on, obviously, 65 to 70. He was on I Dream of Jeannie as Captain Anthony Nelson. He did The Good Life from 71 to 72. He was on Here We Go Again in 73. He was on Police Story in 74. And, we get to Dallas in, 79 and all that stuff. Obviously, he's on Knots Landing as well. After the original Dallas run, he played Jack Jones in the 1995 Nixon. He was...
Oh, wow. This is...
What? Wait, why? Go ahead.
This isn't too much of a stretch for him. Governor Fred Picker in Primary Colors, which, if I remember correctly, he was like a Texas or Midwest governor.
Yeah. He was the narrator on a TV series in 2005 called Sheer Dallas. He was Wallace Brady on The Simpsons. Now, why wouldn't they have made him... whatever, anyway. He was on Nip Tuck for a few episodes as Burt Landau. And then obviously, the Dallas 2012 series before he passed away. I think the last big thing before Dallas came back, he was Frank Kaminsky on Desperate Housewives.
Yep.
In 2011.
My wife remembered that as soon as I mentioned JR. She's like, oh, he was on Desperate Housewives.
So let's pick up with the children here. Christopher Ewing, played by Jesse Metcalf. I always get him confused with a couple other ones, but he started in 2003 as an actor in something called 44 Minutes, the North Hollywood Shootout TV movie. Surprisingly, he was Van McNulty on Smallville from 2003 to 2004. He was on Passions from 99 to 04. He was, oh wow, I did not know this, and I know everyone talks about this damn movie. He was John Tucker, and John Tucker Must Die in 2006.
I've never seen it either, so don't feel bad.
He was also in Desperate Housewives from 2004 to 2009, which I did not know.
30 episodes. That's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. He was on a TV series called Chase from 2010 to 2011, and then obviously Dallas 2014 or 2012 to 2014 as well. It says here he is in post-production on something called Destined. He's going to play Officer Holder. And he's also in pre-production or post-production on Dead Rising Watchtower, which I assume that's a video game. I assume it doesn't say here.
It could be the new Dead Rising movie that they've got coming out, but hard to tell with where it's at. So,
well, a zombie-infested town, yeah, it looks like it's a movie. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah. What do you think of Jesse Metcalf as Christopher Ewing?
I like him. I really do. I think he's good. But at the same time, I kind of see him being kind of sneaky with everything going on with him and Elena. I don't know. I mean, I'm still warming up to him because I haven't seen all of season 2 or season 3 yet. So it's still kind of
Right.
You know, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. So his cousin, Christopher's cousin, John Ross or John Ross Ewing, Josh Henderson. He started out in 2002 on Maybe It's Me, a TV series. He plays Jackson. He then went to She Spies in 2003 for one episode. He was on a TV series in 2002 to 2003 called One on One. He was in The Girl Next Door in 2004. He was a pep rally jock, apparently. I completely missed him in that movie. He was in a TV series in 2005 called Over There. He was in Yours, Mine, and Ours. He was in the original Step Up film. I don't know why, but okay.
Yeah.
Holy
crap.
He was also in Desperate Housewives from 2006 to 2007.
What'd they do? Grab all the cast of Dallas and throw them on the show?
Guess so. It's a precursor, I guess. He was in 90210 as well from 2008 to 2009. He was on CSI, the original CSI in 2009, and then obviously Dallas. He doesn't have anything coming up according to IMDb. So, what do you think of him as John Ross?
Okay, I like John Ross. I like him as the character John Ross, but it's the character I keep thinking, man, this guy is a dick.
Yeah.
And I mean, he plays it perfectly, though, because John Ross is supposed to be a dick. And I was just like, I hate this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I couldn't not feel that way about him. And he just was, oh, man, he made me want to go, like, take a shower with how he felt. You know, with how I felt watching him just slimy, sneaky, you know, ugh.
Oh, man. All right, so let's hit another one of the young characters here. We have Julie Gonzalo as Rebecca Sutter. We'll save the reveal for later, folks. Most everyone knows at this point, but we'll save it for later.
Yeah.
I think it got revealed in season 1, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Yeah. You know who she is, right? You know who the character is supposed to be, right?
Christ. No, I'm not remembering. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I think... God damn it. Hold on. 26, 25. God damn it.
Well, see, and I goofed it up by seeing that first episode of season 3 before this. So I was like, that's what I was trying to remember. I'm like, wait.
So Julie Gonzalo plays Rebecca Sutter. She started out in 2001 in a short called The Penny Game. She then went to I'm With Lucy as Eve in 2002. 2003, she had Exit 9, which was a TV movie. She was on a TV series called Greetings from Tucson from 2002 to 2003. She was on an episode of NCIS in 2003. That's interesting. Oh, wow. I so did not make that connection, and I've seen that movie 1,000 times. She's friggin' Amber from Dodgeball, a true underdog story. I did not know that.
Oh, Christ. Who's... Okay,
Amber is the cheerleader who Justin wants to date.
Oh, my God, that's her. You're right.
Yep.
Oh, Christ, I didn't even realize that.
I so did not put that together until now. She was in Christmas with the Cranks. She was in Cherry Crush as Desiree Thomas in 2007. She was on Veronica Mars from 2006 to 2007. She was on Eli Stone from 2008-2009. She's on an episode of Castle in 2010. Nikita also in 2010. CSI Miami. Mobsters, very short-lived series in 2013. And then Dallas, 2012 to 2014. She has 2 things, according to IMDb, that are in post-production. Waffle Street and The List. What do you think of her as an actress? What do you think of her as the character Rebecca Sutter?
As an actress, I think she's doing a really good job. She always seems to play, well, before my experience with Dallas, seeing her as Blair Crank in Christmas with the Cranks, she always just seems like this peppy, cute girl that you want to love, and you want to fall in love with and just be like, ah. And then there's her as Rebecca Sutter / Rebecca Barnes.
Yeah, I don't think any of us saw that coming.
No.
Like, we knew something was up with her and her quote-unquote brother, but I don't even, like, I was wondering, how are they, because it all has to go back to what it was. It all has to go back to what it was, except it's, you know, JR and Bobby's children fighting the feud. So they have to figure out some way to get, you know, a Barnes in there somewhere. And the sad thing is, all I can think of is that stupid Bill Cosby bit when he's talking about revenge, and he's like, "I'm gonna get you, Junior Barnes."
Yes.
You know, you gunky. That's all I can think of every time they think of the name Barnes. But no, I love Julie Gonzalo as Rebecca Sutter, as Rebecca Pamela Rebecca Barnes. Absolutely love her. Her character, you know, but you know, hey, we'll talk about that as we go along here. So, moving on to the Fast and the Furious chick, Miss Jordana Brewster. She was in 4 of those films. Yeah. The original, the 4th one, 5th one, and 6th one. So that's the Fast and the Furious stuff. She actually started on All My Children in 1995 as Anita Santos.
Man.
She was in the faculty in 1998. She was in As the World Turns from 95 to 2001. You know, I already mentioned Mia Toretto, Fast and Furious. She was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. She was in Mr. and Mrs. Smith TV short as Jane Smith, which is kind of weird because Jolie plays it better. As much as I like Jordana Brewster, Jolie was better in that character role. She was on Chuck for a couple episodes.
Oh, I loved her on that. I mean, she was Chuck's ex-girlfriend, and it was...
Oh, Lord.
Oh, man. And, of course, they made so many references to the Fast and the Furious, and they even made a reference to As the World Turns, but you had to be a real geek to pick it out. I loved it. I mean, just how they put her in there. So she did an excellent job there.
She was in American Heist in last year. She obviously, from 2012 to 2014, she was Elena Ramos in Dallas. Coming up, she apparently has completed Home Sweet Hell, which is coming out, which I assume is a horror movie. And she will be reprising Mia Toretto in Furious 7, which comes out this year. She's in post-production for that. What do you think of the Elena Ramos character?
Well, initially I thought, okay, why, I thought she was just there as eye candy at the very beginning. And then I started realizing, no, she's actually there to kind of put up a love triangle going on. And, the fact that they pull her in for that, I was like, okay, this is going to get good. And I'm, again, more eye candy just to look at, stare at. Oh. Yeah, I'm liking her so far from what I've seen.
Yeah, same here. I really do love her, and her character depth gets really, really good once season 2 and season 3 happen. In season 1, I think all of these actors, whether they're legacy characters or whether they're new actors playing the characters, I think all of them do a damn good job in season 1, but I also think they're finding their way into, like, they're feeling, like, specifically with Josh and Jesse, they have to feel out the way that those characters of Christopher and John Ross are. Like, they fit the characters, but they have to, as actors, they have to grow into them. And it's like with any show. The first season, you need to have that point to where the actors need to feel comfortable playing the characters, and on screen it shows that they are comfortable and they fit the characters well, but they still need time for growth. I think the last 2 I'm going to bring up because they play a really huge role in season 1 are Brenda Strong and Mitch Pileggi. So we'll talk about Brenda Strong first. Mary Alice, who died in Desperate Housewives. So let's just get the Desperate Housewives thing right out of the way there.
Jesus.
She was the narrator for the entire thing. She started out She's got okay, so she started out in 1985 on St. Elsewhere for an episode. She was Nadine Aurora. She then she was on an episode of MacGyver. Oh, wow. We have a Dallas connection. 1987. Cliff's One Night Stand in the episode Cat and Mouse from 1987. So Brenda Strong was, wow. She was the nurse in Spaceballs.
Oh, that's right. That's right, with her boobs popping out.
Uh-huh. Let's see here. She was in Matlock for an episode. She was in the Father Dowling Mysteries. She was on Twin Peaks as Jones for 3 episodes, something like that, 91.
I hope she comes back for that when they bring it back later.
Yep. She was on a TV series called Scorch in 92. Is that the one with the dragon? I think so.
It might. It looks like it. Dragon flu.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
She was on an episode of Blossom as Diane. 2 episodes of Blossom as Diane. She then went to Young Indiana Jones Chronicles in 93. She was on Herman's Head, 92 to 93, as Dr. Holland, Dr. Paige Holland. She was on Picket Fences. She was on Silk Stockings. She was on ER. I mean, the lady has done so many things. She was Kathleen Isley on Party of 5. She was on Murphy Brown for a couple episodes. Third Rock from the Sun as Miss Frost. She was on Seinfeld as Sue Ellen from 96 to 97.
Jeez.
In episodes such as The Betrayal, The Abstinence, The Bottle Deposit, and The Caddy. She was in... Is that the right one? 1998, yep. Oh, wow. That's right. I think that's one of the places I first saw her. Wow. In 1998, she starred with Patrick Swayze, Meatloaf, and Randy Travis in Black Dog. She was in Safe Harbor TV series 1999. She was on Sports Night from 98 to 2000. She's on CSI like everybody else is on CSI. She was on Seventh Heaven. She was on, let's see here. She was in the Help TV series in 2004. She was on Everwood.
Good God, her list just keeps going on and on.
Yeah, I mean, she's been in a ton of stuff. She was a voice in Scarface, The World Is Yours video game. It doesn't say what voice she was, but she was Kathy Jarrow on Law & Order Criminal Intent episode Betrayed. Rizzoli and Isles. She's on an episode of that. Scandal, Blood. Oh, this is really cool. I watch a channel called Investigation Discovery, and it's pretty much all these true crime shows like Blood Relatives and Wives with Knives and Web of Lies and that kind of thing. And they basically just show different ways that criminal cases can be portrayed. She is the narrator on one of them called Blood Relatives.
Oh.
She does narration so well. Obviously, the current Dallas series that just ended last year. She has 1 credit for The Mysteries of Laura last year. She's in post-production on something called Road to Redemption. Brenda Strong as Anne Ewing. I love her. I love the character. And I love how that these writers and these people that have brought the show back have pretty much given us new characters that have similarities to the old characters, because pretty much Anne Ewing is the current Miss Ellie, because you take that that first couple episodes in season 1, there was a point where she chased after somebody with a shotgun.
Oh, yeah.
She's not, Anne Ewing is not afraid to use that shotgun.
Yeah. At this range, I don't miss, mister.
That's right. What do you think of her as the character and just acting in general?
Again, great character. Playing as Mary Alice in Desperate Housewives, she was great. Seeing her in this, I loved it. She just was really, really good being Bobby's wife. And seeing all that, seeing her going through some of the stuff, you know what, I won't say anything more about it because I don't want to ruin it for the plot. So,
Absolutely.
She just was very, very good. I liked her for this.
Absolutely. Now Mitch Pileggi, he really surprises me because, I've seen him in everything I can think of that I don't really know who he, like, you know how you see something and you really like the portrayal, but you don't know who the guy or the girl is or whatever as the actor or actress. He's one of those types of people. He started out in 1982 on Mongrel. He then he was Paul Winkle in the Road to Hope episode of the A-Team in 85. He was on, he was on Falcon Crest. He was on Alien Nation. He was, again, another classic Dallas connection. From 83 to 90, he played Morrissey on the original Dallas.
Wow.
So that's nice that they're bringing all these actors back, that have done other things. He was Thomas J. Watts in Knight Rider 2000, the TV movie in 1991. I did not even... That's one of those roles where I've seen him and I've liked his role, but I didn't know what the guy's name was or where I'd seen him before. He was one of the internal affairs investigators in Basic Instinct. He was let's see here. He was on the X-Files as assistant director Walter Skinner.
I knew I recognized him from that. I'm like,
Yep.
He was a hitman on Models Inc.
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
He was Dr. Stanton, the voice of Dr. Stanton in Batman Beyond in 2000. He was in the Tarzan TV series as Richard Clayton in 2003. He was on Law & Order Special Victims Unit as DEA agent Jack Hammond. He was on Nip Tuck. He was on Daybreak. He was on Cold Case, Boston Legal. He played...
Oh my God.
What?
The voice of James Gordon?
Yeah, in the 2004 series The Batman. He was, he was on Criminal Minds. He was on Stargate Atlantis. He was on Medium, Supernatural, from 2008 to 2011. He was in The Finder, very short-lived series a couple years ago. He was on Grey's Anatomy, Sons of Anarchy, and obviously Dallas.
Oh, he was good on Sons of Anarchy. I liked him.
Yeah.
He played this drug dealer that was manufacturing crank and just, oh God, I hated him.
Yeah, we'll probably be doing season passes for Sons of Anarchy once I can find the time to actually watch the show.
I know what you mean, man.
Obviously, Dallas as Harris Ryland here. In 2015, he's on Blue Bloods as Donald DiCarlo, at least in one episode of that series. All right, so what do you think of Harris Ryland?
I think he's great. I love him. He does great characters. He always plays kind of these rough and tumble, gruff types, and as Harris Ryland, he's doing a great job of reliving that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there is one other person that we do have to bring up because when she came on the scene in the Dallas series, I was like, no way. Absolutely no way. We have to talk about, and we're going to be, when we get to the season 2 and season 3 podcasts, we're going to be dying because of some of the things that this lady does. Judith Light.
Yes!
Plays Harris Ryland's mother, Judith. She started out as an actress in 1977 on Kojak.
Oh,
she went from that to One Life to Live, Saint Elsewhere, Family Ties, pretty much everybody remembers this lady as Angela Bauer from Who's the Boss.
Yep.
What the hell happened, Judith Light? You used to be so innocent, and then you went and did Dallas 2012.
I remember her from that, and then also from
Duckman.
No, actually, I remember her from Duckman, but Law and Order SVU, and she was the judge.
Yep, Judge Elizabeth Donnelly. Yeah, absolutely, I remember that. She was on Ugly Betty. She was in a TV series called Eden. She was on Scrooge and Marley as the narrator. She was, coming back. Not coming back, but from 2013 to 2014, she was Judith Ryland on this Dallas series, and some of the stuff that they wrote and had her do, oh my God. I mean,
I'm waiting to see exactly what comes up with her. I mean, I know that it's coming. I know that it's coming.
Oh, dude. You have no idea. It is amazing. So, we're going to jump off the casting couch here. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with overall thoughts on the show as we decide to jump or not jump the shark. We'll be back after this.
I'm Colin Baker.
My name's Fraser Hines.
Hi, I'm Daphne Ashbrook.
This is Andrew Cartmel.
Hi, this is Colin Spall.
Hello, I'm Simon Fisher-Becker.
This is Ian McNeice.
Hi, this is Travis Ritchie.
You listen to this Mark 42's.
Listen to Mark Who 42's Universe.
If you're into Doctor Who, listen to Mark Who 42's Universe. We always have the latest Doctor Who news, reviews, and interviews. We are available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Geekcast Radio Network, and our home base, markwho42.net.
Mark Who 42, the meaning of life.
Kid?
Yes.
Shut up.
Beyond the Night is the GCRN's latest review podcast. We are covering everything in the Knight Rider television universe, from the classic 80s TV series to the 1991 reunion film, Team Knight Rider, and the 2008 relaunch series as well. So join TFG1Mike and Dion the Music Man as they go in-depth and Beyond the Night only on Geekcast Radio Network. You can find Beyond the Night in iTunes and on www.geekcastradio.com.
Kid?
Yes, Michael.
Just keep driving.
Alright folks, before we get to our initial thoughts and more in-depth thoughts on Season 1 of Dallas, I wanted to bring this up because a lot of shows do have taglines, and it's interesting to me what some of the taglines are. For Dallas, we have 4. Double the Double Cross. The Double Cross never felt so good. They're back, and no, you're not dreaming.
Oh.
And the last one that they have is you can't strike oil without getting your hands dirty.
Oh.
All right, so season 1 is, I believe, 10 episodes. What were your after you watched the first season? Because I assume you marathoned it all the way through.
Pretty
right?
much.
After watching it, what were your thoughts overall on season 1 of Dallas?
Hot damn, there are a lot of twists. That's the best way to put it at the start. I mean, you've got JR, who's basically been kind of just comatose for the very first couple of episodes, and then he kind of comes out of it and says, "You know what? I'm coming back to South Fork. I'm going to come back and take what's mine, and we're going to have there's going to be a good old fight with this, Texas showdown in a sense." And then you've got Marta DiCarlo, who really isn't Marta DiCarlo.
Nope.
I was kind of like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Just, there was a lot. John Ross being just, the complete dick and sleeping around, and, you kind of feel for him at some parts, but at the same time, it's like, damn, he's an asshole.
Yes, he is very much JR's son, but he has to live with the fact that he has to try to live up to what JR became, because John Ross, I can see in him early JR. I can see in him, but JR now, even JR at the end of the original series, he pretty much learned by the end of the original series that, hey, look, I can be this villain. I can be the best villain on television. But I have to do it in a way where it's going to make me look like a really, really twisted good guy in a sort of way. And John Ross right now is not to that point. I don't think he ever will get to that point as a character. But he does have JR's raw edge.
Oh, yeah.
And he does do a bit of learning as the series goes on. But, yeah, in Season 1, he's pretty much dick. I was shocked that the very first episode, Changing of the Guard, starts with them drilling on South Fork. I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
What's going on here? You're not supposed to be doing that. Put that stuff away. You know.
I saw that. I'm like, that better not be. That better be on like Cliff Barnes land. What the hell?
Yeah, no. Absolutely not. But Season 1, for the 10 episodes we got, there is so much. There's absolutely so much going on here. First thing I have to talk about is the opening sequence. The opening title sequence. There's only one thing that they changed in that theme. I believe it was an old snare drum. And I heard this on one of the... I don't have the DVDs, but I heard this on a YouTube clip or something or other. Or they actually used to do a live after show. Cameron Matheson used to host it and would have, a couple of the guests from, a couple of the actors or actresses from the show come on, or the producers, and they were talking about, the theme song, and they're like, yeah, there's one thing we need to change in there, and it's a really, really old 80s snare drum. And the other higher ups are like, but no, we can't change the theme. We can't change. No. I don't want to change the theme. Theme is fine. We just have to change one aspect of it so it sounds better. And they changed that snare drum out for something else. But the overall theme and the opening sequence, the difference in the first season is, compared to the original series, is they don't use their pictures. They just use the names.
Yeah.
They used to, in the old series, they used to show the pictures of the actors or actresses along with their names. And they'll eventually go back to that. To homage the original series, but oh man, I love that opening sequence, because watching Dallas for me in reruns in 93, 91, 92, 93, back then, I was like, because back then we all know the Patriots were not the team they are today.
No.
So I was a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, along with Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and all those guys. So it's like, just seeing that shot of Texas Stadium, it's like, oh wow, that's awesome. Just seeing that in the show for Dallas, that was so great for me. But I love the opening theme. Love the way they do that. And this season, there's so many twists, so many storylines going on. I mean, just with Marta herself, there's like 6 different angles that come out of that. One of them is you have Carlos Bernard as this Venezuelan drug lord.
Yep.
It's like Tony from 24. Really? Seriously? That's awesome. Let's see, what else did I like? I love how we see, Bobby and Ann. I love seeing their marriage. I love seeing it, hey, Bobby's, pretty much happy. I love all the legacy moments. Like, I think it was the end of the second episode, because when they originally aired on TV, the first 2 episodes were billed as the 2-hour series premiere.
Right.
And I think it's the end of the second episode where JR and Sue Ellen meet for the first time at the ball at the not the Red Baron, but the Cattle Baron's ball. That's what it was. And just seeing of course we know they're divorced, they're not together anymore and whatever else, but just seeing the history between Sue Ellen and JR was just great.
Oh yeah. Just
absolutely great.
They pulled together so much good stuff, and it was like, oh my God. I watched this, I see a lot of similarities going on here. Obviously, again, seeing John Ross coming in when they're at the ball there in the beginning, and you see him wearing the Stetson hat, him fitting in just like JR did, all the similarities, and just nice little, I don't want to say homages because it's not homages, but legacy things Legacy's showing back up. I'm glad for that.
Absolutely. I really dug all the ways that they worked in the Legacy stuff. Like I said, I love how, even the various, just the schemes that JR and John Ross come up with. It's so good. So great.
Oh, I've got some that kind of tie back to the original series when it was the whole Who Shot J.R. Ewing bit, and that's coming. I don't want to spoil anything more for that.
Yeah.
So it's when you see those tie-ins, it's kind of like, okay, something good's coming.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Really, really is. Anything else on season 1 that you want to bring up?
Not that I can really think of. I mean, there's a lot. For anybody who hasn't seen it, sit down and watch it. Do a marathon like I did. You're going to love it. It's, my wife got sucked in for a couple of episodes before she passed out. I was up late last night finishing this up, so.
Yeah.
But great series. I am enthralled so far.
Yep. I mean, just between the characters, the setting. I mean, just the setting of South Fork itself. Oh. I mean, it's just amazing. And the acting is so well done. From emotions to not even having any emotion. The feud that, Bobby doesn't want the feud to continue. Bobby wants the feud to stop, but it wouldn't be Dallas without a feud.
One of the best parts was when Bobby announces at the very beginning that he wants to sell South Fork.
Uh-huh.
And that whole battle, I mean, that's reaching through into some of season 3. So
yeah. Bobby announces he wants to sell South Fork. And this causes all kinds of hell. And the first season, ladies and gentlemen, without spoiling it, is pretty much the boiled down point of it is mostly the sale of South Fork and who's going to end up with South Fork. And this ties back into the Marta thing because she's not really who she says she is. And John Ross and JR and Bobby and everybody trying to, go around each other. Meanwhile, you got Christopher over here trying to do, clean energy with methane and whatever else. And he wants to get out of the oil game, which is fine. And you got Sue Ellen running for governor. Sue Ellen Ewing, governor of Texas. I'm not sure how that would have worked out, but hey, you got that whole story angle. You've got, Bobby and Ann's problems, and then you introduce Ryland, and he, oh my God, I know we'll see a character from this character's past that I'm going to mention, but Harris Ryland is he's a lot dirtier than the character I'm going to mention here, but he's pretty much the McKay for this series, would you say?
Yeah, I would say that.
Was it Carter McKay?
Yeah.
He pretty much is the Carter McKay for this series as far as the villain goes. And then the reveal at the end, which people, if you haven't watched the series, stop the podcast, go watch season 1, please. The reveal at the end of Cliff, and it's like, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah.
What? It's like, and again, it goes to, I knew JR was still alive at this point, but I didn't, I hadn't really paid much attention to Larry in a long time as far as his acting goes. Same thing with Ken Kercheval. I didn't know he was still alive. I'm glad he is. I'm glad he, but it was one of those things when I first, I'm like, oh my God, the shit is about to hit the fan, folks. Because it really is.
And that's speaking lightly.
Oh yeah. Because then the other plot line in this season that they have starting up is this whole juxtaposition. It's this whole thing with Rebecca and her quote unquote brother Tommy and that whole storyline. and the storylines intertwine with each other so well, and it gets even better in season 2.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Really, really does. We're going to take another quick break here. We're going to come back with final thoughts on season 1 and what we're looking forward to for season 2. And that'll be it for this Season Pass Remote Control. We'll be back after this.
Now for a behind-the-scenes look at Geekcast Radio Network's newest show, Talking in Circles.
So, Chuck, Greg, what are you guys thinking for this week's show?
Well, Dan, how about we just talk about the things that we've read or watched this week?
We do reviews like that every week, Chuck. How about a game like Fact or Fiction or The Power of Names?
Those are great, and we're always coming up with new ideas for games. And how about some top 5s? You know how I love my top 5s.
What about tournament-style brackets, or sequel, reboot, and destroy, who will win in a fight, taking too far, crazy but true news, or...
Yes, it appears we have lots of things to work on.
Listen to Talking in Circles, taking timeless topics in new directions, every Tuesday on iTunes or GeekCastRadio.com, the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hey, Dan, who's the guy with the creepy voice?
All right, folks, we are back here inside Remote Control, or on Remote Control, whatever you want to say. 0 to 5 stars, what would you give Season 1 for Dallas?
From what I've seen of it, and from what I remember of it, I would probably give it a 5 stars. I mean, it's captured me, it's hooked me, it's going to carry on. I mean, as it gets going on, that may change a bit from what I've seen, with episodes here and there of Season 3.
No.
But so far, I'm loving it. I think it's awesome. Definitely go see it if you haven't watched it yet.
I'm going to give Season 1 a 4.5. I did really enjoy everything about the season, but rewatching it now before the recording and whatever else, and just seeing some of the character flaws where the characters need to grow and where I know they do grow into, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Without really thinking about or jumping ahead into season 2, what do you think, or what would you like to see happen out of season 2?
Oh man, I want to see more of what happens with Cliff Barnes showing up. Obviously, I want to see how Rebecca is going to play out, because I got a feeling that there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen because hey, that's Cliff's daughter.
Yep.
I've got some feelings like she's got some dirty dealings that are gonna be happening, and that she and Cliff are gonna be working to take down the Ewings again, or at least try to. So,
oh yeah.
I'll look for that.
You think season 1 was good. Season 2 is just gonna knock you right out of your shoes. I'm telling you, it's the twist that they put in this show. All right, folks. For me, season 2. I mean, I watched the show when it was airing, and I watched it on Netflix at the time. It's still there now, thank God. And I will be watching it again before we do our season 2 episode of Remote Control for Season Pass. But just from what I remember, looking forward, I can't wait to see what more we get out of Bobby and Ann, because in this season, something we didn't mention earlier was that he revealed in this first season that Bobby has cancer, and that nearly broke my heart. I literally nearly started bawling when he revealed that, and I'm like, wait, what? Seriously? And
that killed me too, because I had stepped away from the TV for a minute to go get something to drink, and I left it running on Netflix. And I come back, and all of a sudden they're talking about cancer, and I go, wait, who's got cancer? Back the fuck up here. Oh shit, Bobby has cancer?
That's why you always hit pause.
Yeah.
And what's even more heart-wrenching is how they actually turned that all around, because I know they didn't know at the time, probably, but as we go through the next 2 podcast episodes, the events that are revealed, it's like, wow, that it was a weird twist of fate that they started off the series with giving Bobby cancer, and what happens later in the series. So, all right, folks. Thank you for joining us here on Remote Control. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on this and every other episode post that we have. Email us, feedback@geekcastradio.com. Put in the subject line, Remote Control, Season Pass Dallas Season 1. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please, please do this. I know it's been a while. We just released a couple weeks ago our Agent Carter episode, but please go leave us iTunes reviews. Follow us on Twitter at GeekCastRadio is the network Twitter where you can see all of our content updates. Mine is TFG1Mike. What is your Twitter?
At Sprzout. SPRZOUT.
Feels like a weird Return to Oz reference. Anyway, become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekCastRadio Network. You can also check out Talking About My Generation over there on Facebook, as well as mygenerationpodcast.com, right?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. There is a 5-minute time limit. We hope you enjoyed the latest episode of Remote Control and wish you'll join us next time. And we'll be talking about Dallas Season 2. For now, I am TFG1Mike with
Doug Abel.
Tune in next time when we will all be fighting over the remote control.
You've just listened to Remote Control. Thank you for tuning in to Remote Control. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com. You can email us feedback@geekcastradio.com. Be sure to leave us feedback in iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at GeekCastRadio. Become a fan of us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. You can call the voicemail line. Be sure to leave us your name and the show you're leaving it for. The number is 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed the latest episode of Remote Control.